Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg is being sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Sholdit, Rotella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, Two Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments. Welcome to Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that will leave you feeling great about yourself, Omaha's heroes, and Omaha, where we live, work, and play. So park yourself on the bench and have fun.
Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg, the show that you turn into each and every week. Why? For that feel-good feeling. About what? About yourself, about the city of Omaha, about a great nonprofit organization, and of course the wonderful guests that are here to inspire us, motivate us, and teach us. And this week, right here next to me, we have Harkins and Bryn Hansen, the winners of a national contest. But not just any national contest. They won the Warren Buffett Secret Millionaires Club Grow Your Business Challenge. And in a moment, we're going to meet Emily and we're going to meet Bryn. And I am so thrilled, as everybody is, to have you here because you're going to teach us about teamwork. You're going to teach us about winning. You're going to teach us about creativity. And it is going to be so inspirational for each and every one of us. It's going to be a one of a kind. And as we always do in every show, we have 3 motivational vignettes. Then we talk about a nonprofit organization. And then, of course, we have our guests. So what do you say we begin with our motivational vignettes right now? So let's talk about disappointment and regret. So what is disappointment? Disappointment is when you set out a goal for yourself and then all of a sudden it is not achieved. And then you begin to say to yourself, oh boy, I didn't achieve my goal, something went wrong, and I just feel so bad about it. And you know what? That's okay because we learn from disappointments. But you know the worst thing to happen? The worst thing is to have regret. Regret says, I never should have done this in the first place. I told you it wasn't going to work. Everybody said to me it wasn't going to work. I never should have done this. I regret doing this. And because I regret doing this, I'm never, ever going to try anything again. And you know, that's the mindset that we go through. When I went through that little piece, you know it sounded familiar to yourself because we all go through that. Disappointment is a lesson in life. We're going to learn that in a few moments because not everything went smoothly for these national winners of the Warren Buffett contest. They too went through disappointments, but never did they feel regret. So from now on, what I'd like you to do is to totally eliminate any feeling of regret. You can feel disappointed, and when you get disappointed, just review the process that you went through and correct it, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be a matter of achievement for you. Does it sound simple? Does it sound blue sky? You bet. Does it work? I got to tell you, each and every time. Because that is what the learning experience is about, and that's what I would like you as an individual to feel and to do each and every time. Let's also talk about your resume. Do you remember the time that you went to apply for your job? And on that resume is the very top line. And what does that top line say? It says objective. Now, when you fill out that objective, you know that you have to be so precise. You have to make sure that it matches what the prospective employer is looking for. And you got to make sure that it matches what your skills are. And you always want to set a lofty objective. And you take a lot of time to make sure that the words are right. You make sure that it matches what this particular person is looking for. And you make sure that it matches your skills. And you take time doing it. Now, I have a question for you. If I was to ask you, what is the objective of your life? What will you say? You know what? You got to have an answer because that is your achievement. That is who you aspire to be. That is your vision. Once you have that objective all set out, then everything else becomes easy for you. Then you begin to list your skills, why you're going to get there. The only thing you're going to add to that, of course, is your action plan. How you're going to get there, what dates you're going to establish in order to achieve those milestones, and how you're going to measure yourself. So when you prepare a resume with an objective, do the same thing with your life, and you'll find that you'll accomplish so much more. And I'll give you an example. I started off each and every show with my right hand saying hi. Today, if you noticed, I started off with my left hand because I've got lots of different skills. As a matter of fact, so do you. And I use those skills just to shake things up a little bit. My objective was to show you different ways to do things that you always do, which is called a habit. And that is how I took some of the resume skills that I have. So right now, what I'd like you to do after the show, begin to prepare the objective of your life and compare that with your skills. Make sure you get them done and get the most out of it. And remember, there's only one person that can do it, and that is you. It is this time during the show that we always profile a nonprofit organization. And today we're going to be talking about VODEC. Listen carefully. The ability to reach full potential. That's what VODEC is all about. That's what a group of parents, educators, and other community members wanted for individuals with intellectual disabilities when VODEC was formed almost 50 years ago. To this day, VODEC continues to assist individuals with intellectual disabilities reach full potential at home, at work, and in the community. VODEC is a private, nonprofit organization that provides employment, residential, and community inclusion services. Each day, VODEC assists individuals in finding and maintaining employment by providing assistance at home and in exploring fun and exciting activities. Each year, individuals are discovering how VODEC can help them reach their full potential. Find out how VODEC can help you. For more information, please visit www.vodec.org or call 712-328-2638. It is this time during the show that we always have our guests. And as I mentioned earlier, if you go to Warren Buffett and say, "Who's Andy Greenberg?" Warren Buffett will say, "I think that's the guy on TV, but I never met him." If you go to Warren Buffett and say, "Who is Emily Harkins and Bryn Hansen?" Warren Buffett will proudly say, "Hey, those are the individuals that won my national contest for the year 2015. They won my secret Millionaires Club Grow Your Own Business Challenge." And we have it right here. Emily, so nice to have you here. Bryn, so nice to have you here. And on behalf of all my viewers and myself, please accept our congratulations for representing Omaha so well in this national contest.
Thank you.
Let's go back a little bit to the past. When did you first realize, at what age did you realize that you were creative? Emily, we'll start with you.
I think from a very young age, I always had loved like inventing things, playing around with like my brother's Legos and stuff. So I kind of always knew from a young age that I wanted to invent something because I was very creative. But when I was younger, I never really took it as far. So when I got older, I rethought my possibilities and thought that I could take my creativity to the next level.
So how much older were you when you figured that out?
I was around 10, and then I'm 12 now.
Right.
So
just 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I played with Legos, I followed the instructions. My buildings, they still fell down.
Yeah.
I wasn't very good at that. Bryn, how about yourself?
Kind of like you and Emily, I would build little Lego buildings, but I wouldn't really necessarily use the instructions or build like a formatted already structure. I would kind of try to make it my own.
So when you have a set of Legos, what is the one thing that you do? Do you follow the directions? Do you build what they tell you to build? Or do you do like these people who at a very young age said, "You know what, get rid of these instructions. I'm going to do things the way I want to do it. I'm not going to do things the way other people did it. I'm going to create my own way." So let's move forward. And you find out about Warren Buffett's idea to have this contest. Why did you even bother to enter? What motivated you to get involved with this?
Well, it first started out as a school project that our language arts teacher, Mrs. Bunton, and our gifted and talented teacher, Mrs. Johnson, introduced us to. So we got very interested in it, and we have been friends for a long time, so we knew that we wanted to be partners and discover a really good idea. So they told us about the contest, and after about 6 months of doing everything and getting it ready, we entered the contest, and it's taken off from there, yeah.
So, Bryn, when you first heard the name of Warren Buffett having a contest, were you guys not intimidated about this man of the world, one of the richest men in the world, that you're going to compete in his contest? You weren't intimidated at all?
Oh, we were a bit, but we thought, you know, it's a chance. We could get in. We always have a chance since we're entering. And we thought that since we've grown up in Omaha and Warren Buffett lives in Omaha, and that he's such a powerful figure, and we hear about him almost every day. We thought that it would be cool to enter and maybe see if we could get to meet him.
You know what, if I was to summarize what they just said, they heard the name Warren Buffett. You know what they said to themselves? We'll show him. Just because he's Warren Buffett, he hasn't seen us yet, and we're just going to enter his contest. Now, what would you do if Warren Buffett was walking down the street and said, hey, would you come over here, please, and have a discussion with me about business? What would you do? You'd probably run away. But no. As a result of meeting these two great individuals, do the opposite and say, come on in, Warren, I'll chat with you. Thanks for asking me. I'm glad you recognize me as someone who could actually help you out. Now, you mentioned that you've known each other for years. When did you meet? And were you always friends?
We met in about 3rd grade. We both go to Dundee. And so I'd been there since kindergarten, and Bryn came in 3rd grade. So in the beginning, we did not like each other at all.
No. Really?
We were not friends. And then towards the end of the year, in like the middle, we started talking and we started growing a lot closer. And now we're just like inseparable. So
you started out as mortal enemies, or not friends, and then you became collaborators and won the contest. So now let's get back to the original idea. How did you think of this idea, and describe it for me? What is it that made it win, and what is it?
Well, our product that we designed was a organizer with pockets and a sticky back to stick to walls or desks or computers. And we kind of came up with this when we were both kind of talking together in class in our kind of free time, and one of our pencils broke. We were like drawing or something. And so I went back to my pencil bag to try and find a pencil, but I was rummaging through like millions of like crayons and markers and everything, and I could barely find a pencil. And we kind of thought, well, before that, our language arts teacher, as Emily said, had told us about the contest, and we thought, why not an organizer? And later, as time goes on, or as time went on, we developed our idea and came up with our winning product.
Wow, so from an accident, from one little thing, it's almost like the sticky notes when 3M developed it. Everybody knows that story, so I'm not going to repeat it. So here they are, a creative individual, a pencil broke, they came up with a product and moved forward with organizers. And on the internet, there are always so many articles about how to organize. And I got to tell you, I know Carol, my wife, is watching this show, and she will tell everybody that I am not an organized person. So what I'd like you to do, Carol, is I want you to look up what they've created, and please buy it for me for my next gift. And I promise that I'm going to go ahead and use it. So you went ahead and developed an idea. Now, you built a prototype, I would assume?
yes.
And did it work the first time?
No, not at all.
Really?
Our first try, it was not good. We just glued on pockets, drew buttons. It was horrible. But we took that failure and we used it as motivation to keep going and to develop our business more. And it took us about 3 tries to get our final look and product. So the lesson that we learned is that after you fail, don't give up, just keep trying.
Well, wait, this is the opposite of the way most people think. Now wait, failure most people walk away from. Oops, I failed, I'm going to walk away. You use failure as a motivational idea. Mm-hmm. That's terrific. So it took you 3 times and then you got it right. So you never regretted doing it, as we talked about earlier. You were obviously disappointed, but you took that failure and then put it together into making it something successful. Now, as you went through this process, did you always agree?
No, actually, we had a few, not really arguments, but disagreements on several decisions for our business and our entry in the contest. And we sat down and we talked to each other and discussed why the other person would think in that perspective and why you think differently, and maybe either compromise or decide which idea is more fit and works better.
Yeah, I think what makes our business and our product really well is that we work together really well and we talk to each other and we discuss each other's ideas. So throughout the whole process, I would tell Bryn my feedback and she would tell me hers, and we just use our thoughts and collaborate together and use her strengths, my weaknesses, everything like that, and we made a really good product and we're really proud of it.
Wait, you really cared about what the other person thought? You just didn't stick to your own position and say, wait a minute, this is my idea, I'm right, and you best be listening. You didn't do any of that?
No.
You know, there's an old movie, and I love doing that. I find that hard to believe. Yeah. And that came from a very famous movie, My Cousin Vinny. Yeah. I find that hard to believe. What about you? How often do you get stuck in your position, and you could be at a business meeting or with a significant other, and all you care about is one thing, your idea. You'll never move from that idea. You're going to be stuck to it. You're going to be stubborn. You're going to be obstinate. You're going to be arrogant. When you replay this show, you'll learn the opposite. You'll learn to collaborate. You'll learn to have an understanding of why somebody else finally got to that same decision as you are, because you went ahead and listened to what somebody else said. So, it's time for the contest. You're ready. There's thousands of people around the country competing for that one prize. Did you know you're going to win? And if you did, why did you win?
In the beginning, we were very optimistic going into the contest because we thought, there's 4,000 kids entering. There's a big chance that we could not get in, but there's also that small chance that we could. So we just took that and we said, you know what, we have nothing to lose. We're just going to enter, see what happens. And then we found out that we got in the semifinals, and we were just ecstatic. We could not believe it because we were like 5 out of the country, right? They were in the semifinals. Yeah. It was a really big deal for us. And we went in, thinking, no, we're not going to make it at all. But then we came out with actually winning. So we learned a lot that you always have to be positive.
So even if you thought that the odds were against you, you didn't stop. And that's why you won. Mm-hmm. You won because of your tenacity. You won because of your desire to win. And you're simply not going to let the odds go against you. But people don't do things all by themselves. So you probably had some support from your parents and from teachers. So let's talk a little bit about the support you got from your parents.
Our parents did put in a lot of their ideas and help us a lot with what their opinion, what they think we should do with different decisions. And we really appreciated all their ideas. And some of them we even put into but others we kind of said, thank you very much, but we'd not like to include that.
Now, here again, I'm just in shock and disbelief. Because if I had the average 6th grader here, and I would go to them, do you ever ask your parents for advice? No, I don't ask my parents for advice, and I wish they'd stay out of my life. But you guys invited them in to something that was so important. How did that make them feel, and how did that make you feel, knowing that there's outside support to help you?
It made us feel really good. It made us feel that we had extra support, and we had like a cushion and everything. We had like our own little cheer team. And our teachers, Mrs. Johnson and Mrs. Bunton, also really helped us a lot. Miss Johnson especially, she helped us develop our product, develop our business idea, but also our family was a very big factor of it, and they were there through us throughout the whole process. And it really felt good to me and Bryn to know that our family and our teachers and our whole community really cared so much about us and our business.
It's all about support. It's all about understanding that there are people out there to help you. Just ask them. They're helping you. Whether it be parents, spouses, relatives, friends, bosses, subordinates, they're all there to help you. So now that you've won, what is your future going to be with this product? What are your goals? You won, okay, fine, give me the money. I'm going to use it for college. What are you going to do?
We kind of feel that we do want to start up our business, but we need some help at first, and we need to get ourselves collected and organized so that we can get enough support and education to start up our business.
So you're going to do the planning, you're going to be doing everything that a business person does, doing the marketing plans. One thing I might ask after this show, just for the credibility, did you guys bring your birth certificates with you or proof that you're only in 6th grade?
No.
Because I'm getting the feeling I'm talking to adults who've been in business, who've been through life. So you did bring them with you, because I might have to make sure that there's credibility there. And that's just my way of complimenting you, because with the way you're saying it and what you're saying is just so different than what you normally hear. Now, why are you that way?
I think from a very young age, both of our parents are in very professional business careers, and so we grew up being very mature, being like in the education, like getting like all the knowledge that we need. And so I think it's mostly because of our parents, and we pay attention a lot in school. So
Oh, I bet you do.
yeah, I
I bet
think
you do. And I have a hunch you're probably going to get a full ride scholarship, but I'd still study.
yeah.
And I'd still absolutely make sure of that. So when you graduate college, what career do you want to go into?
I was kind of thinking maybe I'd want to be something in the architecture sort of business. That always kind of interested me, making stuff by myself and looking at things, how they were made and how I could remake it and things like that.
So you're always going to be improving on things. So you're going to take a look at the way, I like to call it the status quo, the way things are. But Bryn is not going to accept the status quo. She's going to say, okay, this is the way things are. This is the way they should be. And I'm the person that's going to make that happen. I'm going to build those buildings based off of somebody else's foundation and just make it better. How about you, Emily? What are some of your plans for the future?
I have been thinking a lot. I mean, from a young age, it's always changed, you know, doctor, nurse, teacher, all that. But now that I'm older and I've had this great experience, I think I really want to be a lawyer. I like arguing. I want to help people. So I think that's probably the profession that I'll go into.
And this is, of course, after your very successful business career with Bryn, taking this product out to the masses, getting the investors, and getting everybody to use that organizer, which in itself is a remarkable way to think about something that happened by accident and taking your creativity from the days of your Legos into having that winning feeling. So when you won, how'd you feel?
We were both just like on top of the world. We were on cloud nine. Like, we could not believe it. Like, for me, I think it didn't sink in until like a week after the contest that we actually won. So it's been a really fun experience, and just right when they said our name and where we were from, we jumped up, our parents, our teachers, everyone was screaming. It was amazing.
Bryn?
Yeah, actually, when they announced our names, they didn't announce our names first. They kind of made it fun and said from Omaha, Nebraska. But as soon as we heard Omaha, we started getting up, and our parents were screaming, and I could barely even hear him announce our names right after Omaha, Nebraska, with everybody screaming.
And of course, everybody knows that the judges had no idea where the contestants were from. So it is through their skill, their talent, their tenacity, not because of their geographical location, that they were able to win this contest, which makes it so important. So Bryn, if there was one thing that you would like everybody to remember about you and the way you are today, what would that be?
I'd like everybody to remember that even though we had some differences between us during this journey, we worked them out and we discussed them, and that we worked really hard to get where we were and didn't ever say that we are not going to win, we probably shouldn't have done this, and that we continued on and held our heads high.
Emily?
I think I want people to take away from what we've done is that just like kind of what Bryn said, never give up, always believe in yourself, just be positive really, because there was lots of times when we failed that I could have and Bryn could have just said, you know what, we're done, we're not going to continue with this, it's not worth it, but we took our failures and we made our dreams come true, and now we are national winners, so.
And you know what, the other thing I think you should do, and this is just my own idea, I think you two guys and gals should collaborate and write a book. Write a book for adults written by and you're going to be in 7th grade, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a summer project.
Yeah.
Because what you guys have showed us is absolutely the right way to win, the mindset, and how to succeed in life. Emily, thank you so much. I can't tell you what this means to have not only the winners here, but the process and how you won.
Thank you.
Bryn, same here. You guys are just remarkable. And thank you so much for sharing everything with us. And you know, one of the things that we always hear in the world is that something has gone viral. So what does that mean when something has gone viral? That means that somebody created something which was absolutely brand new, something that nobody else has done before, something that was creative that they did on their own. And we normally see these in videos and ideas and crazy pet tricks. It doesn't matter. But it's nothing that's mundane that we've seen before. And you know what? We just learned from 2 individuals whose success story has gone viral, by the way, and will continue to do so, only because of their creativity, only because of their tenacity, their ability to do things that adults currently don't do, and that's having teamwork, understanding each other, having compassion, having collaboration, and always keeping the eye on the ball. So one of the things that we want to do for ourselves, each and every one of us should pick something that we can and will do that will make us go viral. It doesn't have to be worldwide. It could be within our own companies. It could be within our own educational system. It could be anywhere that we want to. But take a lesson from these two magnificent adults who are in 6th grade and learn how to take yourself viral. So today we covered a lot of things in your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. We covered 3 motivational vignettes. We talked about the difference between disappointment and regret. And once again, our 2 guests showed us how to take disappointment and turn it into achievement. We talked about a resume and having an objective. Their objective was to win. They took their skills that they learned from when they were little children playing with Legos and built that up within 2 years. Remember what Emily said? At age 10, she realized she's going to use her creativity. At age 12, she did it. And the same thing with Bryn. They understood what their objective is. They took their skills, built a model, and turned in a magnificent resume, which now has brought them and the city of Omaha some terrific viral reputation that each and every one of us can learn from and adopt into our own life. And that is something that even 3 motivational vignettes cannot do justice to, comparing to what these individuals accomplished here in Omaha, Nebraska. So once again, my sincere thanks for sharing that story, for educating us, and for making us even better as a result of your presence on this show. So what is coming up in the future on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg? Well, we've got the show next week coming up, and I've got to tell you, next week's show is going to be our last show. Why? Because I'm actually going out of Omaha. I am retiring, moving to another state. But the guests we have next week are the volunteers that put this show together. The director, the camera people, and of course the general manager of KPAO, whose goal is to take public access TV to a new and higher standard. So where are you going to be next week? Right here on your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg. Stay high on yourself, and Omaha, see you then.
Your Omaha High with Andy Greenberg was sponsored by Best Buy Signs, creator of the Omaha Parks Program, OmahaFastFoods.com, Certified Transmission, Shouled It, Rotella's Italian Bakery, La Peeps Restaurant, 2 Men and a Truck, Shout Weekly, Critter Control, Russ Kaplan Investments.